we are at the moment in a cycle of life where everybody, if you're just a little bit aware, you can feel something is shifting. Some people are not willing to maybe adapt to the change. Some people are not strong enough to adapt to the change. Some people don't know how to put it into practice in order to go with the change. It is my perspective. There will come the time, and it's not going to take long, where a natural separation is going to take place, a natural separation. The ones that are able to read the signs, that are able to go with what is happening, to adapt to the changes this world is bringing to us, they will move on to another world. They will move on to another area, to another cycle of us humans being right now here on the earth. And other people that are unwilling, unable, maybe incapable of adapting to the coming changes. It is simple like this: world which is about to end. That's the message. That's all what this is about. An old era is about to come to an end. A new era is about to come. This is worldwide happening. It's happening inside our monastery. It's happening inside of me.
From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may see all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum, Hunabku, Eva Maya, E Maho. Ayum, Hunabku, Eva Maya, E Maho. Ayum, Hunabku, Eva Maya, E Maho.
Just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies.
Welcome back to Sing Talk. It's been some time since we've been on. I'm very excited to be able to speak with you today. So definitely welcome. You are truly in for a treat. And so let's go ahead and get started as we bring ourselves into vibrational alignment to a higher plane of mind. It was once said to me that there's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. And I can challenge that now, because when you know your whole mind and you're able to see what you really have access to, a lot of the circumstances and the shenanigans going on in your life will end up stopping, like dissipating right before your eyes. I'm excited. My name is Neb Teharka Kanishkawak, and I am going to be the facilitator for this session. Sync Talk is synchronicity talk, and we're talking about synchronicities because we can either run our lives by programs, which most of us are. We're plugged into the matrix with a job and a life, or we can follow the synchronicities of the natural time cycles that's here to help us evolve naturally. And so a few years ago, I just decided that, I was going to make evolving my number one priority. But more importantly, I wanted to really delve into and see how much could following these natural cycles help me advance myself in my thinking, my level of intelligence. And let me tell you, I've been flat out blown away. And so when I look at this, I see this as a solution to many of the issues that we have that are coming to us in the form of distractions on a day-to-day basis. And when I first heard about this 9 years ago, the first thing that came to my mind was the movie Lucy. And when I saw how in that movie that this being was able to operate with different levels of consciousness, with 10% brain capacity, 20% brain capacity, 30, 40, 50%, 60%, and all the way up to 100%. And so around that same time, I saw this knowledge and I said, this is the science behind how all of that works. That would be very valuable to know how the science works and to be able to integrate it into our lives. And so at that point, I made a decision that I was going to focus on this at a level I never focused on anything to see if it would work. And not only has it worked, it's worked in a way beyond what I thought. And so when we have these sessions, this is an opportunity not only for you to see the concepts of how to evolve in this body, but to be able to really be the actor, the director, and the producer of your life. So the title of our session today is Restore Your Memory and Evolve Part 1. Now, many of us will try to evolve without restoring our memory. And it's like putting the cart before the horse, because once we're able to tap into memory, I want you to think about this experience instead of having to learn something new, as if you already have experienced it on an energetic level, and you just have to allow yourself to remember so that you can focus and experience what you've already created for yourself to remember in the first place. So it's very exciting to see this process truly unfold. And if you're patient, now one of the things, if I could teach anybody anything, it would be patience, because we live in a microwave society, in a digital society. So we want everything to be fast, and it can be. But before it's fast, that things have to be set up in the right process so they can unfold and enfold in a way that's in alignment with your divine purpose. All right, so let's go ahead and get into who are we. We are a progressive group of cosmic beings that are highly intelligent, intuitive, telepathic, and laser beam focused on evolving throughout this journey of remembrance to fulfill our galactic purpose here on Earth. Now, just think about that. Once you know your galactic purpose, your earthly destiny becomes a lot simpler, because you realize that you were sent here for a grander mission, something bigger. And to be sent here for a grander mission, you got to be bigger than what you think you are right now. And so in looking at this, we are part of the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment that we just started about 1.5 years ago. We have several courses offered. We're going to add more courses. One of the aspects that we teach is the law of time and its relationship to nature and the mind. This is why we talk about calendrical systems as subtle programs that keep us from evolving into our expanded self. We also talk about whole mind concepts from an energetic level so that we can restore and improve our self-image. And we also are going to be putting some economic initiatives for small businesses in place based on these principles. And it is absolutely phenomenal what's to come. So what we want to do when we're having a session like this and when we're talking, and by the way, if you all are on and this is your first time listening in, go ahead and share this with some of your social media, some of your networks, some of your like-minded individuals, because we are truly coming into the new time, and we have to understand the power of an evolved consciousness. The power of an evolved consciousness doesn't really worry about who the president of the United States is, more concerned about who the president of my mindset is. An evolved consciousness doesn't worry about being targeted or racism or these different things. An evolved consciousness knows that they're creating their own experience here and they are responsible for what they create and what happens versus just what they do. So here's the thing. If you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall into place. That's how strong your mind is. The rest of your whole life, just by correcting your mind, will fall into place. And I think that's so powerful. And so the reason why this is so prevalent right now, because we have truly shifted from the information age into the telepathic age of our existence. Now, some people who are on the basic level are saying, well, what does that mean to me? Telepathy, I'm already telepathic, but being telepathic with intention, being able to see what happens, what's going to happen in the future before it happens, and be able to make adjustments before it happens, or know how to change what's going to happen, know how to create the future, know how to go into retrocognition, where you can go into the past and see what really happened versus what this one said and that one says, her story, his story, and then there's the real story. All right. But telepathy speeds everything up. So there is a very powerful element. It's just like Chat GPT. It's just like Google. If your mind worked like that, is you just had a thought, asked your mind a question, and boom, it just spit out the answer. That's what you want. And then when you can really get into telekinesis and things and move things with your mind and create certain situations, then it gets really, really, really interesting. But even before we get all of that, how about what if we could show you how being more telepathic could help you prosper financially? What if we could show you how being telepathic could help you have better communications with people and attract companions of destiny? What if we could show you how to be telepathic with your body and heal your body from different degenerative ailments, or being able to make it into a more optimal state? So the power of telepathy is so powerful. We have no idea. And we at the School of Enlightenment, we teach concepts and we provide tools to strengthen these faculties in the mind so that you can advance yourself and not be a victim of circumstance any longer. A victim of circumstance means something is happening outside of you, and that's where all the power is. So now we are just at the mercy of this thing that's outside of us that's creating all our doom and gloom, all our circumstances, choosing if we're good or if we're bad. But I'm saying that power is inside of us. And if you acknowledge that as your self-image, you'll be able to cast vision and fulfill visions like never before. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. And it's so powerful when you look at everything that's happening around the world. We just had an election here a few weeks ago here in the United States. And, you know, it was a lot of controversy on who to pick and all of that. And my whole point is to make sure that you pick yourself. There's a lot of conflicts around the world, global warming. There are a lot of issues. And some of these issues are here for people like us to meditate and to go to a higher state of mind and team up with Mother Earth and fix. And then some of them are flat out distractions from your evolution. And we all have to figure out which is which so we can stay focused on the proper things. All right. But there's no doubt about it. And I don't know if anybody would debate me about this, but it's no doubt about it that evolution is the solution. The solution is to evolve. Think about it. If you evolve, all right, and you figure out by evolving how to take care of your circumstances or things that are giving you trouble with ease and comfort, would that be okay? Evolving. So we all, a good example of evolving is if you had to go back to high school right now, and maybe you're in your 40s or 50s or 30s, and you had to go back now, it would be easy because you got the experience. You're operating at a higher level of consciousness. Well, there's another level of consciousness after the consciousness that you're operating at right now. That's not in conflict, that's not in judgment, that's attracted these circumstances that may have you perplexed or may have you stressed. So once we evolve, we are now more empowered to take care of these issues. And so what I'm saying is that we need to use the knowledge that we have energetically to help us do that with ease and comfort as we fulfill our purpose on earth. All right. So this is actually part of a sequel. I call it the empowerment sequel because we're in the moon of empowerment. And so we want to show you some of the tools that we use to restore your memory and evolve, right? There's a part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is actually on December the 11th, 2024. And that's going to be right before a very significant time, 12/12/24. All right, so you want to know these dates and understand these cycles, because when we talk about cycle, we're talking about a circle. A circle represents consciousness. All right, and when we study the cosmology of the Olmecs and the Mayan, Pakal Votan, they opened up his sarcophagus, and he had a cube in one hand and a sphere in another, and the cube represented all the possibilities in the universe. The sphere represented consciousness. When you put them together, you get the evolution of consciousness known as time. So time is not a mechanical clock. Time is not a calendar. Time is how consciousness evolves through space. It's the fourth dimensional perspective. So just think about it. If you use that perspective in everything that you did. You went to work and you say, you know, man, how does my consciousness evolve? And now I make my job better. How do I make my department better? How do I help make the company better? And so the skill set that you develop by doing that is going to help you move beyond where you were. What if it's a business? Well, how can your consciousness evolve to create a stronger business that can help more people, right? How can your evolved consciousness figure out how to heal your body or other people's body? You see, so when we talk about how consciousness evolves, it's a very powerful thing when you really think about it. If we had that mindset, I got a good one. How can your consciousness evolve and make you a better parent? A better teacher to your children? How can your consciousness evolve and become a better spouse? These are the things that we want to bring to the forefront of our minds, because this is the whole point of being able to have an evolved consciousness in the first place, is to create a more cohesive and harmonious planet that we live on. All right. So in lieu of this, we got a few tools that we use. One is the 13 moon calendar. And the reason why we use this calendar, one of the reasons why, is to help disrupt systemic programming. So if we're scientists say we're only using 10% of our brain, and we take all that 10% and we say, well, we want to evolve, but the other 90% is programming. Well, we're not going to evolve past the programming until we have a different way that we're proportioning our mind and how it works in terms of our thought process. So we follow the 13 moon calendar based on the cycles of Sirius. It starts at July the 26th every year, and that disrupts the systemic programming that has us indoctrinated by a system that's really not designed for us to evolve. All right. The next part is the law of time, and this is a calendar. It's a 260-day calendar, very important for our indigenous, and it helps us evolve spiritually by accessing our cosmic memory. So this is something that I've taught that we have to get good at following and understanding, because the more we tap into our cosmic memory, the more we access greater states of consciousness, the more we can realize that in our body, and we can do more powerful things on the earth. All right. And then there's the hollow mind perceiver, the 441 codes of remembrance. This is how we access extrasensory perception and telepathic experiences intentionally versus randomly. Okay. So there's a method to the madness. And so when we follow the 13 moon calendar, the 13 moon calendar has 13 cycles. This is how long it takes the moon to revolve around the earth. And it takes a mean average. There's a couple different processes that they use. That's why they take the mean average of 2 and they get 28. So if you took your calculator right now, multiply 13 times 28, you would get 364 days, right? And so there's 364 days with these 13 moons. Each moon has the same amount of days, which is really powerful. We show that in some of our classes. And there's one day at a time where everything resets itself. It's very powerful. So right now, to give you an example, we're in the blue rhythmic storm year of self-generation. Self-generation is another word for unconditional love for the self. Now, from this perspective, we're talking about the self being the power of God in us. We're in the overtone peacock moon of radiance. If you look at the peacock, it is the physical embodiment of radiance, right? And interesting enough, the first 7 days of this period, we have something called knowledge initiates view. So you're getting some new knowledge, and it can initiate how you view things, depending on the level of knowledge that you get. Some of you might be listening to this for the first time, and you're getting this new knowledge. You're like, oh, this is really interesting. I don't fully get everything, but there's some good points being made. I need to look deeper into this. And if you're thinking that way, that's how I was thinking 9 years ago. Each moon asks a question. This moon asks the question, how can I best empower myself? Isn't that something that's great? To follow I know it's November, and I know it's almost Thanksgiving for those who celebrate Thanksgiving, or those who are against Thanksgiving, call it Thanks-taking. Whatever the case is, while that's going on, wouldn't it be nice to follow an organized, synchronistically ordered system that says, on these 28 days, you're going to focus how to best empower yourself. That's going to be your focus, not what somebody else is doing, not necessarily, beating yourself up about things you didn't do right. How can you best empower yourself right now? And that's an evolutionary statement in itself. Okay. The chakra in the brain, or we call it a radioplasma, Limi is connected to the solar plexus chakras. That once you know how to empower yourself, you focus until complete. Okay. And so when we look at this, we also, when we talk about the 260-day cycle, you can see it has these pictures on here. This is the glyph, or the archetype, the warrior. So this is the rhythmic warrior that also is on the 6th day of the overtone moon. We call it 6 plasma. But when you get started, you may have trouble going between day and plasma. We don't want to be in a daze, so we use a little schematics here to help us focus on being able to advance our mind in different ways. Okay, so this is what the calendar that we follow looks like. We call it a synchronometer. And if you follow it, it synchronizes the 260-day cycle, the 13 moon calendar, and the Gregorian calendar. You can see it's the 20th right here. And by synchronizing that opens up our mind a little bit different to be opening to what? Restoring your memory and evolving. Okay, so this is one of the 260 expressions of the Creator in the form of kin number 136. We call this the yellow rhythmic warrior. We all know what a warrior is, right? Let's read what it says. It states, I organize in order to question, balancing fearlessness. Now, in this sense, because we're in the evolutionary cycle, right, of magic and illusions, we're balancing fearlessness based on these illusions that we see. And sometimes we have illusions that we don't even know are illusions. Some illusions are bad, some are good. Next, it says, I seal the output of intelligence. So you're going to put out intelligence so it can return a physical and spiritual equivalency. With the rhythmic tone of equality, I am guided by the output of intelligence, my own power doubled. Now, our practice is, as we say this 3 times, we're going to say it 2 more times to imprint it in our mind and heart so we can set it out into the cosmos. I organize in order to question, balancing fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by the output of intelligence, my own power doubled. One more time to lock it in. I organize in order to question, balancing fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by the output of intelligence, my own power doubled. And so you can just look at that statement. Now, I'm not making a conflict right now, but today is Wednesday. Today is hump day. And in this expression of the Creator is trying to show us how to better organize ourselves. The person asking the questions controls the conversation. Learn from this statement how to balance fearlessness against these illusions that we think are real. Put out intelligence, not foolishness, and we put intelligence out. What are we going to get back? Intelligence back. And now that's going to equalize everything, make a level playing field so that we can go as far as we want to go in terms of our success. Powerful. And so now that we're disrupting the systemic programming, now that we're going to, through the archetype or through the 260-day cycle, begin to access our memory, and which will give us access to our whole mind and all these states of consciousness. Now we need to restore our memory. We have so many memories. Now, a lot of people, they don't want to talk about memories too much because we've been programmed, right, to avoid the traumatic memories that we've had, right, because it's painful. And some of the good memories are linked to the bad memories. So we don't sometimes want to, having a memory or too many memories could be a negative connotation to it. But in this sense, we want to have our soul's memory, our memory of the Akashic records, our memory of our abilities to evolve. And by doing that, let me tell you something that you got to do, is to put yourself in a position to think different. The first step in thinking different, this is a basic breakdown of the 13 moon calendar. So just by you taking a second and pointing and saying, where are we? Okay, we're on the 6th day or plasma of the overtone moon, 1120. By the way, since I'm here on this thing, where is my birthday? And you can find your birthday and you start to think different because you're thinking in 13 cycles versus 12. It even help you financially. I mean, just think about it. We didn't change the number of days in a year, but if you set your goals in 13 cycles, you have an extra month worth of money, or you have an extra month worth of success. Okay, so step one in restoring your memory is you want to be able to see where we are on the 13 moon calendar, right? So right here on the overtone peacock moon on day number or plasma number 6. Number 2, step 2, what you want to do? Well, you want to see where we are on the 260-day calendar. And that's why you got to know your kin number, and you got to know your declaration of incarnation, because we came here with a galactic purpose, and this shows us what that's all about. I am telling you, it's different to walk the streets when you know that you have a galactic purpose, not a galactic idea, and you got a whole cosmology that's supporting the unfolding of your evolution as you live your life to the fullest. It's an amazing experience, right? So if you look at the numbers, so we're on kin number 136, so you find 136 on here, and that's where we are on this calendar. Now, these green areas I have found are areas that help us access our cosmic memory. They're portals. And there's 52, it looks like an X, and we call it a double helix, the galactic DNA. And so as we meditate on these darker areas, right, that's part of the synchronic order in the law of time, we now are able to tap into our memory. They're portals into consciousness or memory. All of our memory is stored back here in our cerebellum. So as we tap into that, those memories give us access to all these other alternate realities and states of consciousness to be a better version of ourselves in the body. And so that's the whole point of it. So this is how people are advancing, that are following this, are advancing spiritually, and they're changing their lives and the lives of others on their day-to-day walk as galactic beings on this planet. All right. And then the third step is to access your whole mind, right? So the whole mind on an energetic level, everything is just another version of itself. The cell is just another version of you. Okay. You're just another version of the earth. The earth is just another version of the solar system. The solar system is another version of the galaxy. So when you look at this from an energetic level, we're connected to everything, the consciousness of everything. We are that thing. And as we get the intelligence from the planet, when we get the intelligence from the solar system, we're now able to operate with that intelligence as in the body as a more advanced being. And now we can make different decisions that's more in alignment with the planet versus against the planet, more in alignment with beings that are evolving versus against that. And that creates a whole different kind of collectivism on the planet so that this aspect can evolve. The whole planet is evolving. Artificial intelligence is evolving. So why would we sit here and think, we just need to be cool right now? We don't got to worry about evolving as a human species. I'm telling you, that is totally the solution. Okay, so the whole mind, now that you have access to your whole mind, you're going to find that you now are tapping into the telepathic medium, so that now you get something called notions, and you start to pick up on things, and you start to trust the notions. Before you can trust the notions, we're talking about restoring your memory, you have to trust your intuition. And to trust your intuition, you got to be into it. What is into it? What is it? Yourself, the power of God. The self is just a reflection of everything else. So it's very powerful what we have access when we really realize who we truly are on its simplest and its grandest level. So now we're in the whole mind. So now sensory, I feel like sensations turns into extrasensory sensations. The sense turns into a consciousness. So for example, the power of telekinesis comes through tactile consciousness. It don't come through just feeling it, right? We feel it, but we can go beyond the feeling into the consciousness and into tactile consciousness. That means we can feel things that we can't even touch, and we can move things that we don't have to touch. So there's practices that we have. We started a telepathic group 2 years ago. And so we practice these activities to become stronger in these areas. And what I have found is anything that you make a practice or a focus, you're going to get better at it. So step one was what? Follow the 13 moon calendar to disrupt the systemic programming. So you don't have to be this programmed personality that you think you are, and you can become the gods that you know you are, that you just forgotten about it. Step two is to find your kin, find what kin it is on the 260-day calendar. Those are 260 expressions of the creator. And it will help you as you do that. They're designed, and these portals are designed to help you go deeper into your memory so you can realize a grander version of yourself. And then as you start studying the Hollow Mind Perceiver, or the 441 codes of remembrance, you start to realize, wait a second, I'm able to be telepathic and extrasensory. I'm able to be what you call a superhuman. I could be a superhero in real life. And if it's available, why not? Right? So going deeper into memory, and neurological activity, the more neurons we have, the more intelligent we can be. And so I want to give you a couple tips here before we go. Reflecting is one of the keys to remembering. Every day, look at this hall of mirrors. You should, at the end of the day, be reflecting on your day with pen and paper and say, hey, what went well, what didn't go well, what were some of the things that stuck out the most? And sometimes it's the smallest thing that makes the biggest difference. Reflecting, you got to reflect. Every day you should do a reflection of what took place. And then as you do that, it's going to connect you to a deeper memory that may empower you, like the moon is saying, in some way that you didn't know that it could. I've had it happen to me a whole lot of times. So remember, reflecting. Every day you want to reflect. It only takes a few minutes. But man, when you remember or put yourself back together as that consciousness that's greater than the consciousness you operating at right now, you're going to be able to be more powerful in that board meeting. You're going to be able to be more powerful in your business, in your ministry. You're going to be able to be more powerful in your mosque. You're going to be able to be more powerful because you're going to see your self-image is going to go so much further than what you thought it was prior to that. All right. And so one of the 5 virtues is remembrance. And I love this. This is the first virtue, to remember. Right? So we've dismembered from God consciousness. And so as we go through this process, no matter where you are, we are remembering, right, how to be in alignment with our divinity, or the God consciousness that we have in us. So first comes an awakening, followed by a memory, right? The awakening, the reflection, and then the memory. Once remembrance occurs, you want to cultivate the memory by staying awake. You want to stay in it because, I remember I already was successful at this. I already passed that test. I remember I already prospered in this area. This requires meditative awareness and returning to the natural mind, not the artificial mind with these calendars and digital clocks and watches. With remembrance comes the capacity for cultivating self-reflection. What the self is reflecting to you in your circumstances to help. There's a memory jogger to help you remember. And watch this. Self-reflection overcomes the snare of self-importance. So the ego got us thinking self-importance is about being able to disconnect and go off on an island and do everything me, I, me. So self-reflection allows you to override that and realize you connected to everybody. Powerful. All right. So those are a couple things that I wanted to tell you. Have to remember that you dismembered your consciousness and pretty much devolved into something less dynamic. And you have to remember how to evolve back into being more dynamic, right? Reflections. If you want to restore your memory and evolve and you're not doing reflections, good luck. Because you need something to trigger. How many of you have been triggered before? You've been triggered. Somebody cut you off in traffic. Now you're mad. Or somebody called you short and you really are short, but you don't like when people tell you that. Or somebody called you a name that you used to be called when you was a kid, and then now you want to fight them. So you were triggered in a negative way. This is talking about triggering your memory to be able to realize a more powerful self than you are being right now. All right. Let me make a couple of announcements. So tomorrow night, we're starting a new program. We have our new kin orientation. So this is part of restoring your memory and being able to know how to follow cosmic cycles. And guess what? When we link cosmic cycles to cosmic memory, we realize that it opens up our mind to all these evolved ideals of ourselves. And now we can operate with those ideas intentionally in the body. It's amazing. So this is headed up by one of Synchronistic Human's finest, Ken 181, Moon Goddess Ambrosia. She is an expert in the area of tarot card readings. She is the oracle reader for the Synchronistic Human, and she is phenomenal. She already understands the degree of time travel. She knows her stuff. Well, she's going to be facilitating this session. And to be honest with you, the new kin orientation, we just changed it to a class. It's a four series class, 4 sessions. And each class shows you a little bit more of how to do this on your own. If we send you to a website and show you something else, it gets more challenging because now you got to think with your understanding how it works. And that's how I started 9 years ago. I said, what if people didn't have to do that? They would have much more success, much more faster than I did. Okay, so that's the least we can do. So that's going to be tomorrow at 8 o'clock. It's going to be an hour to an hour and a half in length, but it's going to be life changing. You don't want to miss it. And let me tell you this, every first week or heptad of the new moon, so we're in the overtone moon now, we open it up to the public. Okay, but after that time, it's only for members only. So you have an opportunity, if you like everything and you think it can help you evolve, to become a member and get the other 3 classes and now use that knowledge to help you advance. We're coming into pretty interesting times with the election and all the things that are changing in the world. And guess what? You got to be prepared and equipped to override those changes. All right. So we're looking forward to rocking with Ken 181 tomorrow. All right. So does anybody have any questions? We went over a few things. And if you have some questions about the cosmology or restoring memory, I've seen this do some powerful things in these 9 years. Things that I really, if you'd have told me I'd be doing something like this 9 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. I was more of a business person. I delved in personal growth and development, and that's phenomenal. If you personal growth and development person, this will, if you already have that as a foundation, this will really advance you very quickly in the process. And so, if you have any questions, you can email me at Neb Teharka at synchronistichuman.com. And I am telling you, this is your time. Don't let this time pass you up. Don't take this moment in time for granted, because when you're talking about evolving and you have an opportunity to be a whole different version of yourself, and we sleep on that, we don't know if we're going to get that opportunity again. Right? So we got to be wise about the knowledge that we receive. That evolving thing, I'll get to that 10 years from now. Man, 10 years from now, you'd be so beat down, you might not be able to have the energy to evolve. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that's a gift from the galactic community. That's how I looked at it. And because of that, I treated it with the respect it deserves. And I made some very powerful changes in my life for the better. That's more aligned with my purpose in the earth. All right. So I want to end by saying, in Lakesh, which means I am another you. Alakin, you are another me. That's what that means. Hotep, Hetipu, and Namaste. And remember, evolution is the solution to all your issues in your tissues. With that being said, enjoy your creation. We'll see you on the next Sync Talk, which will be December 11th. And we'll also see you tomorrow on the New Kin Orientation. Join us then. Bye for now. Peace.
It's just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth a sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies.